Okay, so as a follow-up on last week, everybody get grounded, take a deep breath in, make sure you're putting down roots, and that you are getting fully present with the chat, because it's a follow-up on talking about being prepared to be successful, being prepared to manage yourself in any eventuality. One of the things we did last week was pair you and prepare you for one specific direction in your life, but we know that we are multidimensional, multitasking beings who are living holistically. So as far as possible, we need to be stable at the core of our beings and prepared in a multidimensional way to manage different events and experiences simultaneously and synchronistically. We must be able to manage events in the physical world as well as events inside on the emotional and mental and spiritual realms of our own beings. We must be able to manage our receptiveness to spirit, our ability to intuitively understand events inside of ourselves and then extrapolate or beam those into the external world in order to, again, understand what's happening outside of us. All of this takes work and it takes patience, and very little of it happens instantaneously without practice. So the being prepared as a multi-dimensional being means being able to work at different frequencies of light simultaneously. And by working at different frequencies of light, we mean working at different realms or frequencies of self first and foremost, and different realms and frequencies of the universe, what is outside of you and beyond your own sacred space as soul. So for example, if you run a household like I do and have a job, and you have children and you have relatives and you have friends and a social life that is both professional and personal, then immediately you have an understanding that just like your birth chart, you have a variety of experiences that are feeding into you simultaneously, and that any one of those aspects of your life can become more demanding at any point in time. All of that, just for a moment, I want you to see that all of that is happening inside of you in the context of I, the soul, while it is happening outside of you in the context of your physical plane illusion that you call your life, and that illusion is temporary. It is fluctuating all the time. The change is constant and continuous. There is no judgment about whether the change is for the better or for the worse. There is no judgment about whether the exchange of energy between you and the universe is an upward flow or a downward flow in terms of the levels of the frequency. What there is just the reminder that it is fluctuating all the time. So part of the preparedness is the ability to remain stable while everything around you is fluctuating at its own pace, as if all 12 houses of your birth chart are fluctuating, flowing, spreading outward, flowing inward simultaneously. And scratch the as if it is. Over and above that, this is where you get complicated as a multidimensional being. The management of self inside and the preparedness inside is for the physical plane, the emotional plane, mental plane, and spiritual plane, all 12 bodies working together. While externally, every soul you are interacting with has exactly the same 12 bodies. So the pairing that you're doing between yourself and another soul is from one 12-body system to another. The pairing that you're doing between yourself and one event is yourself and a multiple of variables that include all of the 12 body people in the event. It gets complicated, like life. It gets challenging, like life. It gets demanding, like life. It gets fun, like life. It gets joyful, like life. But it grows you. It adds meaning to your life. And part of the work of remaining stable is to be open to all of those experiences. Part of the work of remaining stable is to invite all of those experiences from the knowing that you can, that you will, that it is anyway. Whether you invite it or not, it is anyway. So rather you get on the good side of it by inviting it, sincerely intending that it should be for you instead of simply challenging you, instead of simply making demands of you. That even as it is challenging you, it should inspire you, it should uplift you, it should empower you, it should make you want to dance. And when we start to think on those terms, then the craziness, the confusion, the unscheduled hectic pace of it, and dear God, we've had a lot of that since the 11/11 shift, and we've had a great deal of that since the 1st of November shift. We've had so much stuff happening simultaneously that it's become an imperative to stand still and hold it stable. Just give me a second here. Okay. Just lift it up. Okay. Okay. So just before I move to the next thing, I just want us to fix in our understanding that today's meditation is about being prepared and pairing with in a multi-dimensional way, exactly like the 0 to 1 pairing that we talk about. Except in the universe, 0 pairs with everyone simultaneously. So that's what we want to do today. The second thing we want to talk about is that in the midst of all of this craziness that's happening, in the midst of all of the shifting and the changing that's happening, there is an entire infusion of energy flowing onto this specific plane that we call Earth. And some of the preparation work that we're doing in this class and in the Thursday class is about being able to raise your vibration and hold it stable, to hold your own space so that the infusion of energy may serve you, that you may receive it well and be further stabilized by it instead of hitting a wobble. Now, I don't know exactly how each person is going to respond to all of the shifts and changes happening. What I can tell you is that the infusion of energy includes, firstly, new encoding to the zeal chakra so that the human tendency to create or intend suffering for self and others is shifted, so that there is a feeling of what we call our karmic debts in the universe coming into a new sense of balance. The second shift that's happening, and that's been happening for a while now, is around the recognition of the power of the divine feminine and the requirement of creativity, intuitive creativity, intuitive intention, intuitive understanding, intuitive logic, if you will, in re-strategizing our use of the earth plane and our willingness to be committed to it and participate in the consciousness that is changing it. Now, I know this is not for a beginner's class. I know that this discussion is not for a beginner's class. But because we're working with preparation, some of the preparation needs to be really conscious around preparation of either soul. The soul's journey on the earth plane is not entirely from a body or through a body or even requires that it be with a body. So as a soul, you are going to be receiving higher and higher vibrations of energy even while your body is going through its own experiences and creating meaning and creating new pathways for itself. By 2020, all of the infusions that are happening currently will have shifted us into a new understanding of each other and a new understanding of compassion in the world. We'll be looking with the world from a new insight and therefore a new vision of it. And of course, you all know that wonderful old cliche about 2020 hindsight being filled with clarity or greater clarity. Stop it now. Greater clarity with 2020 hindsight. Okay. So that's like two different ways that each of us needs to be looking at being prepared. The only other thing I want to say about this is that nobody, no one, not one single soul on the planet is ever going to be fully prepared for anything or everything. Just let that one go. The most that you should be looking for or working towards or practicing is that in any given moment you are prepared to be yourself and manage yourself. That is all the universe requires of you, that you be managing yourself. From the self-management, you are then able to project your energy in a multi-dimensional way and hold the space of various souls, various events and experiences, and various strategies by being fully present with yourself. And that brings us all the way back to the importance of being present in the now moment. This projection of your energy into the core of any other event as a dynamic exchange of energy was what we practiced last week when we focused on one thing, one experience or person or event, or a combination of those in one direction. Today we are going to practice holding your own space in a variety of directions, and for ease of use, just to facilitate this work, we're going to work with the compass. So we're going to work from north to east to south to west, and then we're going to flow upward back into north, meaning that when we come full circle to north, we will be at one frequency higher. That's the other aspect of this work. When you begin to hold your space in a multi-dimensional way, every time you meet yourself, every time you meet the same experience or the same soul, you will automatically meet it at a higher vibration or frequency of yourself and of it, purely because the frequency beneath that is stable. So the greater the stability at the core of your being, and the greater the stability you project into any experience, the higher the frequency of your experience when you come around to it again. After this meditation, if you choose to repeat it, you may then want to go again from north to east to south to west, only to flow back into a higher spiral and a higher frequency of north again. There is no specific reason that I'm starting with north, except that I am facing it, and in facing north, I'm facing the Lord Husband, and I've got Paddy down south on this side of me. There is absolutely no reason why you can't start anywhere else on the compass. There's no reason why you can't use all 8 compass points. In fact, there's no reason why you can't use any other tool like the heart center or the birth chart, or the system of stars as you see them in the galaxy, there's absolutely no reason why you can't practice being a holistic being by standing in a forest and sending your energy outward. You could also imagine that you're standing in the center of Stonehenge and projecting your energy into every one of those stones. Get as creative as you like with the practice of it. There are only two criteria. One, you have to be stable in your presence as the center of all that is. And two, when you are projecting your energy outward, you start by sending it one at a time until you are able to feel and sense that you can send your energy outward simultaneously. For this meditation, we're going to do it one at a time, and then when we come back to north, we're going to see if we're sending it and holding the space in all four simultaneously. And for that clever brain that has already moved on to next week's meditation, we will practice sending your energy into 4 directions simultaneously and then 8 directions simultaneously. Before that, let's bring your clever brain back to the present moment and get ready to meditate. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Make sure that you are grounded, that your spine is straight, that you are breathing smoothly and naturally. And there in your mind's eye, meaning in your capacity to visualize, in that butterfly-shaped gland called the hypothalamus at the top of your head, above your third eye, and above your pineal gland, imagine, sense, or feel yourself at the center of a compass or a cross, at the center of the crux of the matter. And right now, while you are here in a physical body, you are in fact the center of the crux of matter manifest. I am present. I am a manifested being. I am creating my manifestation even as I am uncreating, deleting, recreating, and balancing. So just breathe deeply and get that picture of yourself at the center of a compass, at the center of an evenly spaced cross. And just hold that space by breathing deeply. You may imagine yourself at the center of it as yourself, as a being of light, as a gentle flow, as the yin and yang flowing in harmony. However works best for you is completely acceptable. Personalize it as you go. Allow it to be a follow-up on any previous practice of holding your own space and focusing and projecting your energy So just hold that space with a clear understanding of where north, south, east and west are located for you. Just be very clear about exactly which direction you personally are facing. And in your mind's eye, establish that you are in fact facing north. And while you're standing at the center of your compass, become aware that regardless of which direction you're facing in, you are in fact relating to each point of the compass simultaneously. That the very existence of north comes with the acknowledgement of the existence of south, which comes with the acknowledgement of the existence of east and west, and that you're relating with north and south and east and west also exists by virtue of their relationship to each other. And even as we acknowledge that, we find ourselves in a matrix of energy flowing between the 4 points of the compass and self as the central point. Just take a moment to stabilize yourself at the center again and to feel you're relating to every point around you. That what is ahead of you and what is behind you have a relationship or a relational positioning by virtue of your existence at the center. That the positions themselves are determined by your presence, by the direction you choose, and see yourself as the significant pivotal point. I am present. I am the pivotal point of all choices, all intentions, all implementations. I am the pivotal point of all projections, all transference, all creations, all transmissions. In this universe, I am the pivotal point of all that is. And if that feels like too great a responsibility, take a deep breath in and try it again. In this universe, I am the pivotal point, the defining presence of all that is. Make that real for yourself. And feel, if you will, if the flow between you and north and you and south, and you and east and west has changed, if it has shifted, by the mere act of acknowledgement, meaning I see that I know, and I speak that I know, and I feel that I know, I demonstrate that I know, creates change, creates a shift, creates a new relating. And as that shift happens, we move into I feel that I know. And then very gently, in your knowing of north and south and east and west, in your knowing that you are the pivotal point of a matrix of energy, consciously intend to send your energy from any point of your own being towards the north arm of your compass. Project it into the northern flow. Send your light, shine your light, beam your light in the northern flow. For some of you, you will automatically activate the flow in a southern direction. This is normal. The law of mutuality and the law of polarity will create the equal and opposite flow from south to north, in south to south. So simply allow it, breathe with it, and breathe into it, that the flow may expand and shift into a higher vibration just from the acknowledgement again, just from the awareness, just from the conscious interaction. And here's where we practice breathing and holding that space. Just breathing and holding the projection of yourself into two seemingly opposite directions. Just breathe and feel the energy flowing into two seemingly opposite flows that meet and merge within you, that flow into each other within you. So now you may feel the flow from the north, going all the way through to the south. And vice versa, while you are managing both. You may even feel that the flow from north to you and south to you and from you to both points of the compass shifts and changes where they meet, where they become paired or synchronized within you. That your projection outward influences the inward flow, which in turn influences an outward flow to the opposite point, which influences the inward flow again. And for those of you who have tuned into the synchronization, you should be able to see a figure 8, either vertically or horizontally, flowing between north and south with you at its center. And just breathe and hold that space. I hold both north and south, flowing through me as it flows to each other. And if you can see the figure 8, if you can see that small space between the two flows, from you to the north and you to the south, then you are seeing what we call the sacred space between 2 points. If you have a very skinny figure 8, breathe deeply. Focus your energy into your flow. Focus your energy into the projection to both north and south. Stimulate, activate an equal and opposite response from north and south, so that your figure 8 expands, so that the space between you, holding the experience, holding the energy, expands, so that the dynamic flow between you and north and you and south that is present in those spaces is a higher frequency than before. And with every expansion, with every projection, becomes a bigger, greater dynamic energetically. North and south remain stable. I, the pivotal point, remains stable. the dynamic process, the dynamic flow between us expands, fluctuates. And hold the space. Just hold that space. Just breathe and hold it and practice. Practice simply allowing it to flow. If you have a mild breeze, a strong wind, tsunami, hurricane, even a typhoon, breathe and allow it. It is your sacred space. There is nothing to fear in shifts and changes occurring between you and all that is in your universe. Remain stable. If north appears to move further away or appears to come closer, remember that it is part of the illusion. Remember that you do not own north or south, that you are merely in relation to it, that it is. And hold your ground, hold your space, remain silent in your mind, remain calm in your being, remain stable. Allow any shifts and changes within your own energy system to be recorded in your short-term consciousness and memory. And then bring your attention to the relationship between you and east and west. And once again, from anywhere within your being, project your energy. Consciously send your energy into east or west, in the knowing that the equal and opposite will become in accordance with spiritual law. And if you doubt it, pick a direction, send it, and allow everything else to unfold. Test it, practice it, experience it. There is no persuading the clever mind without experience. So send your energy either east or west, and feel the automatic flow that returns to you and flows through you in accordance with the law of polarity into the opposite cardinal point of the compass. Feel your energy stretching in a completely different direction to north and south. Feel your energy meeting at the same pivotal point. Feel the same figure 8 being created between east and west, horizontally or vertically, while you remain stable at the center. Let us make it as clear as possible. Feel it, sense it, know it as clearly as possible. And just breathing, pace yourself to hold yourself stable at the center as the pivotal point, while the flow between north and south continues, and the flow between east and west moves into its own expansive phase. Feel yourself projecting your energy, sending your energy, or simply transmitting your energy into all 4 cardinal points of the compass simultaneously, receiving energy from all 4 points of the compass simultaneously. And feel the flow between you and all 4 points expanding and flowing further and further outward into a bigger, wider reaching flow as you stay focused. Just stay focused. Breathe. Let your figure 8s, let that sacred space between you and the point outside get bigger, broader, wider, more open, more welcoming, more accepting, more receptive, more everything that is a higher vibration Keep those figure 8s in place. Keep the sign of infinity flowing. Keep the sign of abundance flowing. And allow it to become more, just by holding the space. Just by accepting and allowing and experiencing that which is outside of you, pairing itself with you, with the seemingly opposite but equal energy. See yourself connected to all four directions. See yourself connected to the heaven and the earth simultaneously in a whole other flow of 8. But focus most of all on holding that space. Just hold that space. Keep yourself present with it, feeling it expand all around you just by holding it, just by remaining stable, just by breathing, just by being the present pivotal point. I am in the now moment. I am the now moment. I project myself into every possible now moment. I receive the possibilities and potential of every now moment, even as it unfolds. I am the present pivotal point and the flow of all points. I am the present pivotal point and all infinity that is in the present. And check, if you will, just for your information, if all of your figure eights, if all of the flow between north and south through you, and east and west through you, and heaven and earth through you, are automatically synchronizing themselves to each other. Are they all synchronizing themselves through each other while acknowledging you as the one, the central one, the pivotal point of all that is in their relationship to each other? Feel, if you will, if your entire energy system is responding to all 4 points as a holistic being. Feel, if you will, if there is now a spiraling flow from north to east, and east to south, and south to west, and west all the way back to north. Have all your figure eights created a spiraling, circular, upward flow naturally, automatically, as is the nature of I, the soul. have you arrived back at a higher frequency of North. And if you now project your energy consciously into the higher frequency of North, do you automatically, naturally receive a higher frequency of South? Feel, if you will, how the projection of your energy with intention and clarity into any one point of your circle activates other points on your circle to empower you, to hold your space even as you create it. That the law of mutuality ensures that you, as a sacred space, may create as many sacred spaces as you desire, may project into all 360 degrees of your own circle. Without impediment, with complete support, in as multi-dimensional a way as you can visualize, imagine, or intend for yourself. And just as a snapshot, just to boggle your mind and challenge your brain about the potential and capacity of soul, check for a moment if all of your primary chakras and possibly all 308 chakras have all created their own flow with north and south, east and west, so that you are nothing more than a series of the figure 8 spinning, shifting, flowing, simultaneously in the now moment. Is it possible that you have become 308 pivotal points of presence? Holding a space with multiple frequencies, intentions, desires, needs, and projections of self. Is it possible that you are now projecting your energy outward in a multi-dimensional way, with no consciousness of the other and full management of the self? Is it possible that you have become nothing more than a series of possibilities, prepared for every possibility? And is it possible that from here you may choose which possibility to bring closer, which possibility to make manifest on the physical plane. Which possibility to uplift, and which possibility to let lie. Is it possible that from here, everything is possible? Just breathe quietly. Feel your energy system responding intuitively. You may even experience your mind arguing against the possibility. You may feel your hypothalamus gathering energy in its capacity to visualize possibilities. You may feel your primary chakras responding in their excitement and alignment with you, the series of possibilities. You may feel shifts and changes of temperature. Or in your pulse, in your breathing, in your heartbeat. As everything in every space is in fluctuation, you may fully experience yourself as the possibility of change and change itself. Remain stable. Just breathe and remain stable. And hold your space. Hold your ground. Hold your connection. And on a deep breath in, thank all of your guides and angels for their support. As unrequested as it was given. Ensure that you are in fact grounded to the physical plane. Leave all of your figure eights to continue to flow. And bring yourself back into the present moment, here and now.